Let us begin our discourse on Panchama Veda, the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. And as we always do, let us chant the Kathamrita, the mantra. Tabu Kathamritam Tapta Jivanam Kovibhirilitam Kalmashapaham Sravana Mangalam Srimadatam Bhuvi Grinanti E Bhuridajanaha. Today we must thank our Nirakaranandaji as he sang nicely and we could also sing together. Usually people are very less, so we always listen with the cassettes. Today all of you have come, we could sing together. This song was composed by Swami Vivekananda himself for Swami Sri Ramakrishna. And in the evening, when every day if we chant this, sing this, it's a great prayer, we can say. It's a wonderful prayer. And there in the beginning it says Khandana Bhavo Bandhana. And along with that we read the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. The one gentleman, he is not in the ideology of Sri Ramakrishna ideology, but he was telling, just I got a book, wonderful book, and I am reading it, and all my questions are answered, all my doubts are solved. This is what that book? He said the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. This is an American gentleman. So this way the Sri Ramakrishna is reaching the heart of all and everyone, we can say, everywhere. The last time we were discussing about one person asking question, Sir, is it possible for one to see God? It's a wonderful question. Is it possible for one to see God? He is not telling, he is not asking whether I can see God, whether anyone can see God, anywhere, anyone. And what is the answer of Sri Ramakrishna? Oh yes, you can see God, but before that you have to practice these, so many things. If you go to Shankaracharya, he will say, okay, you can, but the thing is, the first place there is no God at all. This is Atman. And to realize Atman, to understand Atman, you have to practice all the Shadasampatti, Shama, Dhamma, Upurati, Titiksha, Shraddha, Samadhan. And what is Shama, what is Dhamma, what is Upurati, what is Titiksha, all that you have to understand. You have to practice that under the guidance of your Guru. Then your mind and body will be purified. Then there is a chance to understand God. And what Sri Ramakrishna's answer? Sir, is it possible for one to see God? Yes, surely. And he can be seen, and then afterwards when the person is asking again, what is the means by which one can see God? Can you weep for God? Can you cry for God? And with an intense longing, if you can cry for Him, weep for Him, you can realize God. The easiest way, I do not know Sanskrit, I am not a Hindu, I have not bathed in Ganges, nothing at all. Only one thing is necessary. First, longing to see God, and then second, along with the longing, the love the tears roll down. That's all, these two things. And this is the wonderful way Sri Ramakrishna giving the answer. And then he is telling the Brahma Samaj devotees going on asking different questions. Then Sri Ramakrishna is telling, but who weeps for God? So long as the child remains engrossed with its toys, the mother looks after her cooking and other household duties. But when the child no longer relishes the toys, it throws them aside and yells for its mother, and then the mother comes. So like that, like a child, if we can cry for God, God will come. Then the Brahma devotee asking, said, why are there so many different opinions about the nature of God? Again, those who speak of God with, some say that God has form, while others say that He is formless. Why all this controversy? Now again Sri Ramakrishna's answer. When a person, he knows everything, his answer is simple. And when you do not know, naturally your answer will be complicated. Because so many words and so many different things that you will be going on telling. One of our Swamiji jokingly used to say, I do not know where he is now, he used to say, if you cannot convince, confused. Make them confused. Jokingly used to say. Then he will be going on quoting so many scriptures and these and that, confusing. It's not clear. Why Sri Ramakrishna is so appealing for everyone? Because here the Sri Ramakrishna we find that he is actually telling everything so simply. Why and how he could say so simply? Because he was God himself. He knew how to reach him. And when the others are telling, they are telling in so many different ways because they do not know. So when a person was standing, I used to give this example in India, a person was standing in the road of Delhi, and suddenly he saw the Prime Minister is coming. For some reason the car stopped, he lowered down the glass and the person saw him, and he saw the Prime Minister from so close suddenly. And another person who is working in the house of, on the office of the Prime Minister, he also occasionally sees him. And the third one, who is the private secretary, almost continuously sees him. And his wife and the children, they also sees him, meet him. Now one person goes to first one and says, sir, I came to know that you have seen Prime Minister. I want to see him. How can I see? What will be his answer? Go and stand on that road and wait for, by chance, maybe that someday he will stop, he will lower the glass and you can, because I have seen like that. And that is the only way. Another will say, you have to study hard, you have to appear in the exam, then you have to be in the Indian administrative service, then you can get a chance to become his secretary, then you can meet him. That is also true. And the third one will say, if you can become his children, son or daughter, maybe his relatives, best is the wife, then you are always with him. So all these things are there, is true, but all different people are telling. And they will be telling he knows these, he likes these, he will be, some of the people who are mixing with me, so they will be telling Swamiji likes this, Swamiji, I like that time only, not that all the time I like that. So when these people are with me, they will be giving suggestions, Swamiji likes all bitter things. Who said that? That day it was a bitter food I had to take, and with a smiling face I took, not that I liked it. So this way, so you cannot simply gaze the what God knows only. what he likes. And what he likes, he said, tears. Not the gold, the silver, and the sweets, and these and that, nothing. That is only for your satisfaction you are giving. But the best thing that the God wants and loves, that is the tears. Can you weep? And then when this question he is asking, why these so many forms and formless with guna, without these attributes and with attributes, then his answer is, God is with attributes and again without attributes. Nirguna Gunamaya. Just now we were singing, Swamiji, he is describing Sri Ramakrishna. Nirguna Gunamaya. He is Nirguna, he is not having any attributes. But at the same time, he is having all the attributes. Nirguna Gunamaya. That is the beauty. That is the speciality. Now, when Sri Ramakrishna speaks, it is so simple. People think, is this religion only? To understand religion, they go to the scriptures. And if you can read Sanskrit, that's wonderful. And they will be quoting in the Sanskrit and they will say, see, this is called Shastra and so difficult. People doubt the simple way Sri Ramakrishna is explaining. And at least in the beginning, then what happened? Some of the direct disciples, they were also telling, do you think Sri Ramakrishna's statements and the words, really there is something, some deep meaning as we find it in the Upanishad, in the Bhagavad Gita, in the Bhagavata, in all the scriptures? Swamiji said, Swami Vivekananda, in every sentence of Sri Ramakrishna, a few days I can describe those lines, quoting from different scriptures, but in so many days I can continue. And he really did it. Now here Sri Ramakrishna is telling that God is with attribute and without attribute again. So let us see, even the Brahma Sutra, Vedanta Sutra, it says, Vikara Bharticha Tathahi Sthiti Maha. It has a Vikara. Vikara means the milk becoming yogurt. It is the Vikara of the milk. It is the milk, but again it is becoming the yogurt. It cannot go back to the milk condition. The God's Vikara, God is creating this universe, and creating means he is becoming universe himself, but that doesn't mean that he has become the universe. No, it says when he creates, he is with the attribute. What is the attribute? Attribute means his power. What is that power? Maya. In the Shankaracharya, in his Bhashya, he says Maya. How God is creating? Through his Maya. This Maya Shakti, how it works? First is cover and then throw something else. Sometimes when we will be reading the Vedanta, we will discuss about that. First it will cover. When we see something, we do not see the real thing in it. And then something else it is throwing over that. And that is the reason whatever we see in this world is nothing but our mental projection. Whatever we see, we find that in that, and then it will be different. So this is Vikara Bharticha Tathahi Sthiti Maha. In Vedanta Sutra, it says like that. In the Bhagavata, again, Bhagavata is the biography, the life of Sri Krishna. In the Bhagavata, it says, Grihita Mayaru Guna Sargadava Guna Sataha. Grihita Mayo, if we break, Grihitam ayo guna sargadad abaguna swataha. Swataha means in reality, spontaneously, in reality, he the God is aguna, there is no attributes. The moment there is an attribute, there is an opposition. Somebody is good, he is bad also. The moment he is good, there will be something bad. When he is bad, something good must be there. It cannot be only one. So that is called the moment God is getting some guna, some quality, some attributes, he is having the opposite also. That cannot be. So that is the reason when we see that God is creating, that is some guna he is manifesting. One person is working, and when he is working in the field, naturally dirt, dust, all those things are there. His clothing are also not that way good. He is working. And then when after bathing, after shower, he is sitting for meditation, totally different. When he is working in the field, he is concerned about all that thing that is trying to grow over there. But when he is sitting in the meditation, he is totally forgetting about that work. So these two aspects, if we can understand of God, God when creating, preserving, destroying, the active form of God with attribute, with all those things are there. But when he is not with attribute, he is nirguna. So in the Bhagavata it says, Panchadashi is a famous book in the Vedanta, and Panchadashi it says, Padasya Vishwa Bhutani Tripadasti Swayam Prabha. Padasya Vishwa Bhutani, only 1/4 of it, maybe, just giving an idea, a very little portion of God, that is everything that we see in this universe. Pada Asya, Pada means the feet. Only what we see here is nothing but small portion of his huge body, the whole body. Only the feet that we see is the whole universe. And then think of the whole thing. Sometimes they say it is the tip of the iceberg. And the huge iceberg is there, but we cannot see because it is inside the water. Only the tip is on the top. So like that, what we see in this universe with all these multifarious things is nothing but maybe 1/4, a very little portion of God. And Tripadasti Swayam Pravaha, that means what? All these quotations that I am giving, quoting from the scriptures, one from the Bhagavata, one from the Vedanta Sutra, one from the Panchadashi, Sri Ramakrishna is telling God is with attribute, without attribute. And his words, we get the support for his words from these scriptures, where he says, everyone is telling God is having attribute and without attribute too. And sometimes when you see this universe, it's nothing but the quality of God. And when we look at the God himself, no attributes. And he is pervading all the creation. We know that story. The God came to a person who was a very good donor. He was a very good man, donor. Whoever used to come and ask, immediately that he used to give. And only one difficulty with him was he used to boast a lot. I am the donor. I only can donate. Anyone comes to me, I can give whatever he asks because I am having everything. He was a very, very powerful king. He used to donate, people used to come, and whatever they asked, he used to give. Then there came a small little person, Vamana. He was the God himself. And he came, he was also in the queue, and when he came to the king asked, "What do you want?" He said, "Only 3 steps of land." King laughed. "What you are asking? You are a small person and your feet are so small. What you will?" Then he was insisting, "No, I only want 3 steps." You know the story, all of you. When the king said, "Well, if you want that, take that." King was thinking only one small portion of land he can jump or walk. Then suddenly he became all pervading God. The small Bhamana avatar, he became huge. With 1 feet he covered the heaven and the nether world. With another feet, this whole world. And with the 3rd feet he was asking the king, "You have promised to give me all the 3 steps land that I want. Now with my 2 everything is covered. Where I will keep the 3rd one?" That king, though was a egoistic person, he had devotion. He immediately understood and he knelt down before God and said, "The only place is left is my head. Please keep your feet on my head." So that is the thing he did. And then afterwards, there are so many stories are there. What actually, through the stories, they are going to tell us. The God with attribute and God without attribute. God is having these qualities and God is beyond all the qualities. And we know that Sabhumim Sarvato Vritva Attatishta Dashangulam. He is covering everything, but at the same time only like a finger he is leaving. In the Bhagavad Gita, 10th chapter, the last sloka, he is going on telling about his own qualities. All these things that you see is nothing but me. And ultimately, when Arjuna was almost confused, because everything that you see is nothing but me, he was telling God. And then ultimately he said, "Athava," or otherwise, "Bahunaitena kim gyatena dhananjaya." Oh Dhananjaya, Arjuna's another name was Dhananjaya, because he collected lot of funds. So today we will be discussing about fund collection. Let us see who can be Dhananjaya. So this Dhananjaya, he collected lot of wealth. So Dhananjaya, Jaya means who can conquer the Dhana, all the wealth. So, O Dhananjaya, why you are trying to understand so many things? Only just this will be sufficient for you. Vishtabham ahamidam krishnam ekangshena sthito jagat. The jagat is not the only world, universe. The whole universe is staying ekangshena, in a small one portion of mind is the whole universe resting. Do you think you will be able to understand me totally? So that is why Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna is telling, you cannot understand God in that way. It is better, He is transcendent, He is unchanged, at the same time He is also like these as we see. Why don't you put your mind in that and try to understand this? Then he was telling a story to make it easy for the person to understand. Listen to a story. Once a man entered a wood and saw a small animal on a tree. He came back and told another person that he had seen a creature of a beautiful red color on a certain tree. The second man replied, "When I went into the wood, I also saw the same animal, but why do you call it red? It was green." And then another person, all of them have seen, all of them are telling truth, but all different color. Then, on being asked, he replied, "Yes." One person who was there, He said, why you are quarreling? I know the real answer. Then what is the real answer? He said, that person, I live under this tree and I know the animal very well. All your descriptions are true. Sometimes it appears red, sometimes yellow, and at other times blue, violet, grey, and so forth. And that is the way, whoever looks at God in his own way, he sees God in that way. And that is the reason it is so difficult to understand Hinduism. Even the Hindus do not understand what is Hinduism. And they always think whatever they have understood, they have grown up in that atmosphere, that is the total Hinduism and nothing else. That is also the problem. It is so vast, it is very, very difficult to even to conceive why it is so many. So in the Semitic religion, when you see that, we find that it is nothing but one God and one goal, one holy book and one philosophy. So this is the only one, the Semitic religion. Indian religion, this says that one God with many hue and shades. So naturally this is difficult. The one young man, he has written to me, the Swamiji, I am reading Bhagavad Gita, I like to read Bhagavad Gita, and I am having nearly 7 or 8 different versions of Bhagavad Gita, and I am confused because almost everyone telling different things. So how, what to take, which one to accept? It is really very difficult. If you read the Bhagavad Gita published by the Vaishnava, it's totally different. If you read the Bhagavad Gita published by the Dvaitin, Vishishtadvaitin, Advaitin, all are different. Why? Because they are explaining it in their own way. But everything is true if it applies to you. If it applies to you, suppose you are reading all this, then you feel that this is the explanation that I like, I understand. I think this is true, that is true for you. And then slowly when you grow, you develop, then you will understand something better way. Then you will understand all paths are leading to the same goal. And that is why Sri Ramakrishna, he is telling, if you are following some particular path, no problem. But do not criticize others. Here Sri Ramakrishna is explaining again, if a jug of water is enough to remove my thirst, why should I measure the quantity of water in a lake? So this is the beauty. We go on studying and spending our time in the library and consulting so many things. Then we write down and then we say everything is confusing, everything is a wastage of time. It is you are not understanding properly. One glass of water is sufficient for you, and why you are going to measure the whole water in the lake? The God has different ideas, things we do not understand. Some people, they will come and ask, if God is so kind, then why Israel is killing those people in Palestine? And if the Israeli is coming, he will be telling, why God is not happy with us? We should kill or remove all the Palestinians. Now the Palestinian people are telling, why God is cruel and killing us? Why? Because it is our own interest. We see in that way. The Britishers, when they were ruling Indians, they used to tell the patriots that you are dacoits. And the Indians used to say, no, they are patriots. It's the same person. When he is working, fighting on our behalf, he is a patriot. When he is fighting against us, he is an enemy. Who is telling this? It's me. So obviously all these things that we see in the God's world, so many things is going on. Do we know why these people are suffering? We do not know. At the back, there may be so many other things are there. When you go to the jail, when you see those people, I went to a Bombay jail. They asked me to speak. That is the only time I went. And they are not ordinary thieves. They are all underground people that all the same things, and they kill people, all these things. But when you look at those people, they are so simple, so gentle. They were all sitting like this. One young boy, maybe hardly 21, 22, very good looking, fair complex, big eyes, and he was almost peeping from behind of another person, just with the shyness, and as the young people they do. But he has killed 4 or 5 people. And when I was asking why this boy is in the jail, then the superintendent who was sitting by my side, he looks good but he behaves bad. Because he has already killed 5 people. Can you imagine? Tortured so many. So that is why when we go and see something and we say why these people should be tortured, they should be in the jail and they are punished, we do not know the background. When you know the background, we can understand. In this world, so many things are going on, we do not know the background. Suddenly someone who was just by my side, my friend, we were together, suddenly he become very famous and he is getting everything. I become jealous, I say no, this is wrong, this is bad. I do not know how he was working so hard. He was working day and night and he has earned his merit by that way. I didn't do anything. So obviously these are the difficulties. Sometimes our teachers used to tell, be careful about the first boy, because he is so intelligent, he will be reading little and sometimes in the dead night and all the time inspiring us to go and play in the ground, and we have, if we can read at least 3-4 hours, we can understand a little. And if he reads only 10 minutes or half an hour, sufficient for him because of his understanding capacity, intelligent. So when I am thinking, oh, he is a fast boy, if he can play, I can also go along with him, I should follow a fast boy, and then I was at least the last boy, now I am plucked. So what happens? That's why when we are trying to follow these people, they were with us. Why suddenly they are there? Because they had the capacity. Something was there. So this is the reason when we are trying to get the answer of all the problems that we see in the human society, we are confused. No one can get the answer. How to solve the problem? There are parliament of religions, their only thing is to bring all people together, discussing about the peace, harmony and peace. Even there will be so many other groups of people, their only objective is to discuss and spread the message of harmony and peace. But to whom he is spreading, those people are spreading? Those who are already in harmony and peace. But those who never care about the harmony and peace, we cannot reach them. So that is the problem. When you were, as I told you, the tribal people who never welcomed anyone, that is welcome, the word is absent. Why? Any new one came, they killed him, no question of welcoming. It was very simple. Similarly, these people, they are having that because by that they are having their money, their livelihood, their position, everything that they enjoy in this world by doing that. Simply I go and then pray, then some white peasants, we are giving them in the sky and say, oh, you go and that is the symbol of peace. Will that help them? Nothing. So we have to understand that there are so many things. In this way, God, when He is working in His administration, He knows what to do, what not to do, with whom. That is why Sri Ramakrishna is telling, yours is the path of bhakti. And it is easy. Yours is the path of bhakti, and that is very good. It is an easy path. Why? Because two things are there in the bhakti. First, I have someone in my front with whom I can talk. I can share my views. Maybe that he is not answering. I am going on praying to God. There is no, everything was same. In the morning as he was, after the prayer also same thing, no problem for him. But if I think that he is listening to me, even if he is not listening, at least I am giving out whatever there in my mind and I am free. That is also help. But one thing is sure, all the great spiritual personalities are telling, there is God, believe it. And with the conviction they are telling again and again, conviction they are telling. Those who are pure in heart, they will see God, Jesus said. And how the purity will come? By love. And how we can develop love? Sri Ramakrishna said, can you weep? Can you cry for God? So simple, this way we can really get our mind purified and we can see God. If we cannot, then we can blame. Lord Buddha, when someone was asking, you were having everything. Now, leaving those things, you are going for something whom you have not seen, you are not sure about his existence. Why? He said, I am sure about his existence. Buddha said, I am sure about this existence, but if I do not realize that truth, that knowledge, I will think there was something lacking in me. That is why I could not realize that truth. But truth is there, God is there. It's not that I could not reach God, realize God, and I go and telling, oh, I tried, nothing is there. Some of the people, they go and join in the Ramakrishna, and some of the organizations, spiritual organization, they will be there for 2 years, then they will change to another, then they will change to another. Afterwards, they come back and write a huge volume of books, maybe 2-3 volumes. I was there and I have experienced, and I can tell you nothing is there as God. His experience of 2 years in the spiritual life, he says like that. So like this, there are people, we are reading their books and wasting our time, arguing only. That is why Sri Ramakrishna is telling, if a jug of water is sufficient for you, why you are going to measure the quantity of water in the lake? Then he is telling, the Vedas speak of 7 planes. You are thinking about only your mind, you know what is your mind, where it is. Then he is telling, Veda means knowledge. And it speaks of the 7 planes where the mind dwells. And then he goes on telling the first 3 levels, Muladhara, Swadhisthana and Manipura. These are the 3 levels. Manipura is the navel level. These 3, majority of the people's mind dwell in that. That's why constantly they are thinking about the worldly thoughts. And they do not know. They think they are great thinkers. They are going on writing some books and that is becoming bestseller. What is there? Nasty stories. And they will be writing in such a way, people will be reading that. Who is writing? He knows. Who is reading? He also knows. But the same thing in a beautiful way, when it is there, whole night they will be reading that book and they are so happy, bestseller. What is there? Up to that level, and we are talking about the God, we are talking about the spirituality, we are talking about the Creator. And who am I talking about it, whose mind is only in that 3 plane? Then Sri Ramakrishna is telling, when it comes on the 4th plane, that is anahata, the heart. When the mind dwells there, one has the first glimpse of spiritual consciousness. When the mind reaches to the heart, then only one can have the glimpse. It's not the full sight, glimpse only, a flash only of spiritual consciousness. Some people coming, and so many people, they come and meet me sitting over here. I see so many varieties, they're so nice. They came and said, we are all spiritual people. And I told, oh, okay, I stood and offered pranam, oh, please sit down. And they are very happy that I offered pranam, and they sat down. And then I talked. There is a full one, sometimes the devotees, they bring the candies. I always give the candies and say, thank you, come again. And spiritual people, it is so easy. They do not understand what is spirituality. So that's why they think that only they are chanting some names or reciting some poems or doing early mornings. That is nothing. There is only going to the primary school. That is the first thing. 2 young girls came. The elder one, I asked her, in which standard, in which grade you are studying? The mother told 3rd. Immediately she corrected, no, I am going to be on the 4th. I told, yeah, now the exam is over, she is sure that she will be in the 4th. So she told. The other one I told, in which grade you study? Then she said, I am going to be in the primary. So she is not studying, and now that she will be admitted, and the primary she is going to be admitted, but so that way we think that we are spiritual. Why? We have recited some of the slokas. Nothing. Religion is realization. That is what Swami Vivekananda said. And Sri Ramakrishna is telling, only on the 4th stage, anahata, when the heart, when your mind comes, then the glimpse of consciousness. In the 5th plane, that is the throat, the mind reaches there, becomes full of so many other things. He will be telling about God, etc. Now the time is up. Next class we will be discussing about this 7th plane. The Sri Ramakrishna, in a very simple way, he is telling, as he is owned in a village fashion, simple way, all the time supporting his words with some anecdotes, some stories. But they are very, very profound and very deep to understand. So that's why we have to understand this. And the Uttara Gita, it says about the Samadhi. Just I am quoting from that. Akasham manasam kritva mana kritta niraspadam nishchalam tam vijaniyat samadhistaksha lakshanam. We will explain it in the next class. So this is the beautiful, the words that we find in the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, and that is why we say it is Panchama Veda, the 5th Veda. Now let us offer our pranam to Sri Ramakrishna and conclude. Niranjanam Nityam Anantarupam Bhaktanukampa Dhrita Vigraham Vai Ishavattaram Parameshamidyam Tam Ramakrishnam Shirasa Namamaha. Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Tat Sat. Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu. I think after pranam, when they are coming to this side,
Yeah, we put it on the coffee table.
you can keep it over here. Huh? Oh, on that table? Keep it on this table. Today you have this little prashad. You have sat so nicely with the prashad.